Hello, SpongeX here with more footage from SoulCalibur VI, showing off more custom characters. First up, we have Jack Skellington from Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm personally a fan of that film, and I thought it'd be fun to try recreating him, and all I can say is, dang, it looks like Jack gained weight.
You impress me.
Fortunately, you can't make the skeleton characters look any skinnier, so yeah. Let's just say Jack's been drinking a lot of milk and he's strengthened up his bones. That's the best way I can put it. And here he's facing as well. I decided to give him Raphael's moveset, because Jack kind of has like a graceful movement, almost like some kind of dancer, and so I thought Raphael kind of had like these suave moves, and I thought they would work well with him. I designed his rapier to look like a pumpkin, kind of. An orange blade and green handle. Kind of look like a pumpkin. Funny, while I was like recording some of this footage, I had like some TV playing on my phone, and I noticed Nightmare Before Christmas was playing on Freeform, so it's kind of funny how right when I was recording this footage, that movie was on right at the same time. So kind of funny. What's this? What's this? I am kicking your ass. Dang, if only he fought like this in Kingdom Hearts. Fortunately, Jack wasn't a very powerful character in Kingdom Hearts, which is crazy because for crying out loud, unlike the movie version, he could actually create spells. Ooh, that was kind of epic. This looks a little too menacing to be Jack Skellington, but unfortunately, you can't make any friendlier looking skeletons in this game. I'm glad I was able to recreate his bat bow tie. Wouldn't be Jack without it. Mermaid Man from SpongeBob versus... Oh no! My own creation, Knick Knack the Squirrel. Forgive me, son! Evil! Didn't quite come out the way I wanted him to, because unfortunately for a lot of the costume accessories you're given in this game, you're not properly able to give him a proper outfit to make him look like, you know, how he did in the show. So I had to work with what I had. Wasn't able to give him tights, so I had to give him basically a skirt in order to give him the green leggings he had underneath, and so yeah, a lot of things didn't turn out right, but I was so glad I was able to recreate the starfish on his nose using purple face paint and a purple star stamp that I was able to put on his face. I am so sorry, Nick. Who would have thought if they ever crossed over, it turns out Mermaid Man would be able to kick Knick Knack the Squirrel's ass. So. Oh boy. Wait, I thought he had the power of water. Now he can shoot fire?
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Nothing will stop me from defeating the evil! Nothing! And now we have Barnacle Boy. Mermaid Man's crusty sidekick. Why'd you stop calling me boy? I want to be called Barnacle Man! This turned out a little silly looking. Fortunately, if I'm not mistaken, like Barnacle Boy has like some kind of leggings. I wasn't able to quite give him that, though, unfortunately, without the expense of him wearing tights. And unfortunately, that's part of his character wearing the tights, so I thought it'd kind of make him look like a mixture of his old self and his younger self. Because they show like how his original version looked like a cross between Robin from Batman and Aqua Lad from Aquaman, but when he got older, his appearance changed drastically, especially with his long nose, his big nose. And so I thought it was funny I was able to recreate that using a heart, and well, unfortunately I wasn't able to give him a sailor hat, so I just gave him a white bandana. I think it works though. It looks silly, but then again, so did the character, so it works regardless. For some reason, these characters have fire powers. They should have water powers. It's too bad we're likely never going to actually see appearances of Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy again, because ever since the voice of Mermaid Man Ernest Borgnine died, I notice how SpongeBob, like, every time they either mention Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but they never show him anymore, and I do respect that, though. Like, they're, you know, they know they can't replace the character, I guess, but... So right here we have Starfire from Teen Titans, the good version of the show, not the god-awful Teen Titans Go version. Starfire was always one of my favorite characters from that show, and I just thought it'd be fun to recreate her. She always had some of the coolest powers in the show. Who wouldn't want to fly and shoot green energy beams? Yeah, I ended up, like, I did not want to see it, though, but I ended up seeing that Teen Titans Go movie because it was surprisingly reviewing well, and I wanted to give it a fair chance, and I honestly don't get why it was reviewing so well. That was honestly the worst movie I've seen all year. Not, you know, I've seen some movies that reviewed pretty badly as well. I saw Venom, and I thought it was okay, and I saw The Happy Time Murders, and it wasn't great, but I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. But Teen Titans Go, that was not worth like 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That was a terrible movie, if you can even call it that. My biggest problem with that movie is how most of the jokes felt stolen. It's like, if you've been on the internet for so many years, you've heard these jokes before. Yes, we all know Wonder Woman was a surprise hit. We all know Aquaman is a joke superhero. We all know Green Lantern had a terrible movie. We all know Batman v Superman wasn't very good. So, to see this movie think it's so clever by making jokes of it, despite the fact how they've been done for quite a while now and they've been done better, the plot was stupid, the animation was poor for movie quality, and I just didn't find it funny. It was just annoying. I mostly saw it just to support the original Teen Titans, because, you know, I was one of those people who were tricked into watching it just to support the original show, and so yeah, the best part of the movie was the end credits scene. And up here we have Raven, another Teen Titan. I wanted to give her her hood, but I couldn't quite recreate it, because there is a hood in this game, but unfortunately it's attached to a cape, and the cape was too short to match Raven's look, so if I wanted to give her a long cape, I had to go at the expense of the hood. But I thought it would work, though, because there have been plenty of times in the show where we saw Raven take her hood off, and so I thought it would work. Just long cape in expense for the short hood. I mean, you know, I got rid of the hood in exchange for a long cape. And that's, you know, she's not Raven without the long cape. I decided to give her Zosalamel's moveset because, I don't know, I just thought, you know, she's a character with such dark powers, and I thought having a Grim Reaper like Scythe would really work. Because unfortunately there isn't a moveset that allows characters to shoot off, like, dark, underworldly powers. Technically, Zosalamel does have some kind of dark-like powers, I mean, especially with his, right here, but unfortunately I missed. That would have been so cool. And yeah, she's fighting Knuckles the Echidna from Sonic the Hedgehog. I updated his model recently and gave him the white crest on his chest. And Raven wins. I also was considering making Beast Boy, because he was one of my favorite characters in the show, but then I decided, what's the point, because I won't be able to use him for what he's really good for, transforming into different animals. But I did settle for someone else who was green. I decided to make the Incredible Hulk instead. Yeah, it would have been cool to make Beast Boy, though, but it just wouldn't have been Beast Boy without the transformations. I mean, yeah, I did make Cameo from Cameo Elements of Power, a character who is, in fact, known for transforming, but, you know, here's the thing, though, there's still a lot of things that she can do without having to transform. I mean, the video games, you know, she is the main character. You control her in her default fairy form most of the time, and then, you have to transform into a monster to either get around or get past an obstacle and fight off enemies, but still, Cameo was still able to do stuff without the transformations. So, you know, I felt more comfortable making her compared to Beast Boy, where, you know, we never really see Beast Boy, like, fighting with weapons or anything like that. He's always fighting as an animal, and unfortunately, I just couldn't really think of an excuse to make him in this game. But I thought Incredible Hulk would work. I gave Master Off's moveset because he's one of the most destructive characters in the game. And since Hulk is one of the most destructive superheroes, I thought it would work. I decided to give him a green hammer. So yeah, this is probably one of the easiest characters I had to make. All I had to do was max out his muscles, give him purple pants, and that was it. Make him green, and yep. So yeah, that was like one of the easiest characters to make. I'm surprised I haven't seen too many people make him yet, because seems like a lot of people like to go for the easy type of stuff to make when it comes to SoulCalibur characters. Now we have Auron from Final Fantasy X, or is that Jeff Goldblum? Looks more like Jeff Goldblum. Oh boy. So I did not make this character. For the rest of this video, the characters I'm about to be playing as were ones I found online that the community uploaded. So I already showed off the characters I made, but for right now, here's some of the characters I didn't make. I always liked Auron. I was first introduced to him in Kingdom Hearts 2, because I never played Final Fantasy X before Kingdom Hearts, unfortunately, so that was kind of fun, though, to, you know, see these characters in Kingdom Hearts and then see where they came from in Final Fantasy X HD, you know, like many years later, and yeah, I really do like Final Fantasy X. It's the only Final Fantasy game I ever managed to play all the way through. It's my favorite in the series. Unfortunately, I have not really gotten much through Final Fantasy X-2. I know it's a very controversial game, like a lot of fans of Final Fantasy X try to act like it never happened. I think it's an okay game. I just, like, honestly, the reason why I'm not playing it is because I got lost in the game. You know, there's too many available places available at the game, and it does not do a very good job at telling me what to do next. So, I'm like, the last I remember, I was roaming around Zanarkand, and I had no idea what to do. You know, I was just wandering around aimlessly, and it got tiring after a while, so I just stopped playing. But I might come back to it someday, but it's going to be a mess when I do, because I still have no idea what I'm doing. And right now, we have Mysterio from Spider-Man versus my ugly-looking Ventus model from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. It looks nothing like Ventus, but there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Now, I don't know much about Mysterio, but I remember him. Like, I remember seeing him as a kid in a lot of Spider-Man related things, and I just thought it was so funny how someone managed to create that character. Such a strange alien creature. It's funny how they were able to make his orb-shaped head just out of a heart. You know, a little heart model. That's kind of funny. Funny thing is, this is actually possible now because Disney bought Marvel, but I'm honestly, other than Big Hero 6, I do not expect to see anything Marvel in Kingdom Hearts 3 unless it's some kind of bonus material. Because here's the thing, Kingdom Hearts 3 was in long development, long before, you know, Disney acquired the rights to Marvel. So it was one thing for Disney to be able to put in some of their later movies into Kingdom Hearts 3, like Frozen and stuff like that, because that was an actual Disney property, and technically that stuff was even made long before Kingdom Hearts, because Frozen actually has a long history with Disney. You know, it was picked up and canceled so many times, rewritten so many times before it finally came out. And so, yeah, you know, I'm not too surprised to see that movies like Frozen ended up in Kingdom Hearts. But I don't expect, like, a lot of people are thinking, oh, we're going to see a world from Avengers, most likely, a world from Spider-Man, or something from Star Wars, and I honestly doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are some nods, like, secret boss fights. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, like, after you beat the game, you're able to fight something like Darth Vader, or who knows, even Thanos, maybe. That would be crazy. But maybe unlockable weapons like Captain America's shield for Goofy, Thor's hammer for Donald Duck, a lightsaber for Sora. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of stuff make cameo appearances, but I do not expect to see any huge Marvel things besides Big Hero 6. And right now we have Lucena from Fire Emblem versus Jessica Rabbit. What a random crossover. Wow, I did not see that coming when I pressed the random button. That's what's fun about randomly selecting characters. You never know who's going to get paired with who, and sometimes the results can be really funny.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized. Battle 2. Fight!
Man, these Super Smash Brothers Ultimate reactions have been kind of funny. They're still going, but yeah, last night was such a crazy disaster for... Okay, not last night, but yesterday. I mean, it was such a crazy disaster for some people. A lot of people are pissed off about Piranha Plant being a playable character instead of someone we actually asked for. I'm surprised there isn't too much disappointment in the lack of trophies, but I do know some people are upset about it, but not too vocal about it. Like, I know I, for one, am really disappointed with the trophies not being in the game. That was such an iconic part of the series ever since Melee, and it's removing it is just such a shame. I thought it would have been cool if, you know, they replaced the... I can understand replacing the original way of collecting trophies, but how cool would have it been in the spirit mode if, after you max leveled your spirits, they could have turned into a trophy? That would have been a really cool thing to do, but unfortunately that's not the case. And here we have Kincaid Rule from Donkey Kong Country, another character who will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And you have no idea how excited I was for that, because I've been wanting Kincaid Rule in there ever since Melee. I love Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong 64 is actually one of my favorite games in the series, despite being one of the most mixed, I guess. Like, yes, the game has its flaws. I am not a fan of the mini-games. I am not a fan of having to collect the Nintendo coin. Believe me, that was so frustrating as a kid. Like, when I was a kid, there was a day where after so many years later, I finally got that damn Nintendo coin. I was speechless. Like, it was bad enough just getting the golden banana from that mission, but then having to do it again just to get that Nintendo coin. That was so frustrating, but oh, I'll never forget how rewarding it felt when I finally made it to that final battle against Kincaid Rule, and I remember, especially after seeing that, that's what made me want to see him in a future Smash Brothers game. I thought there was just so much inspiration they could have taken from that. And I even said, you know, if they ever made Kincaid Rule a playable character in Smash Brothers, they need to make his moveset be like a mix of all of his different alternate egos in the DK series. Because, you know, first he was a pirate, and, well, he was like a pirate king, and then he was... I think he was, what was he in DK Country 2? He was I know in Donkey Kong Country 3 he was a mad scientist, but I can't remember what he was in the second one. Or Was the second one the... No, the second one was the one where he was the captain. The first one, he was the king. Second, captain. Third, scientist. And then Donkey Kong 64, he was a boxer during the final battle. And I love how, in the end, that is exactly what they did with his moveset. They inspired it by all of his different attacks from all of his different alternate egos. And I thought that was a really good choice. Now we have Riku from Final Fantasy X. Not to be confused with Riku from Kingdom Hearts. I remember as a kid I got kind of confused by that. I was like, when I hear someone say Riku, I wasn't sure if they meant Riku or Riku. It's even funnier when you have Kingdom Hearts 2 and they decide to introduce Riku into that game, but for some reason they decided to make her a pixie. But it was just so funny how it's like, I thought there was a big missed opportunity. They should have had it where, you know, someone called her Riku, and then Sora turns around and says, Riku, where? And then Riku points out, no, that's my name, Riku. And that would have been a funny idea, but then again, what's her name in the Japanese version? Maybe it's not, you know, I don't have the answers right now, but maybe her name is different in the Japanese version of the game, so maybe that would have been lost in translation in English or other languages. Which is why it wouldn't have worked, because those games were made in Japan first, then dubbed over. I gotta admit, Talon's moveset works pretty well for whoever made this version of Riku. Tore Squidward's shirt off. That scream, that's hilarious.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
I win.
Battle 1.
And that's pretty much all the new characters I have to show, but I decided to just do a random select, and it ended up being Master Aqua from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep versus Greg the Grim Reaper from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Another random mix-up. Uh-oh. This isn't looking good. Come on, Aqua. Fight back. No! Oh. So close.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
I thought it was cool how I was able to use a certain pattern for Greg's scythe to make it look bloody. I just used like a camouflage texture and painted it gray and red, and then it ended up looking like it has blood splatters on it. I just thought that would be a really cool touch, make it look like Greg just got done with his job or something like that. I'm surprised they didn't do that in Conker, have Greg's scythe covered in blood, because for how bloody that game really was. I was surprised to see he had quite a dry-looking scythe. But especially crazy when you look at the Spooky chapter in the Xbox remake, where they actually added a lot of blood to the scenery, yet still no blood on Greg's scythe.
Battle 3. Fight.
Come on, Aqua.
Stand. Fight to your last breath. Battle 4. Fight.
That was epic. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Hasn't she suffered enough in this series? Wow, she actually survived that? Well, then again, she survived a realm of darkness for so long. That's one thing that's so amazing about Aqua. She's been trapped and she's been there the entire time in this Kingdom Hearts series, and we didn't know it yet. She's still alive after all those years. That's what's amazing about Aqua. I really hope she gets saved. Well, that's all I have to show for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.